Hey guys, welcome back to a new video and welcome back to another episode of building budget gaming PCs for a profit. So in today's episode we'll be building this PC right here. So as for the parts, we'll be getting more in detail about what these parts are throughout the episode. So yeah, stay tuned and let's get right into it. Before we continue today's episode, we had a lot of mixed emotions, which includes we sold a PC which was featured in the previous episode of building budget gaming PCs for a profit. Also, we went through two hiccups, one minor hiccup which we delayed the build, and the second hiccup which could have costed us hundreds of dollars, which will be shown in today's episode. So let's start by unboxing the case. Here for you guys, we've got a case from Antec, which is the CX200M RGB, which comes with pre-install of 5 RGB fans. What we're going to do right now, we're going to be taking off the glass panels and the back panel. Now that we completed stripping down the case, we'll be needing these two fans for the AIO for today's build. So let's get right into unscrewing. Now that we took out the fans from the top for the AIO, we're going to start doing the motherboard assembly so we can prep the motherboard, put it inside the case. Then we can bring in the AIO and slide it right in, so it'll be easier. So yeah, we get into the motherboard, bring in the motherboard itself. So the motherboard is a STRIX Z270i gaming motherboard, which is from ASUS. And the CPU that's going to be paired today is going to be an Intel Core i7 7700K, clocked at 4.2 GHz. So we're going to be moving on to the RAM sticks, which today we have this kit 2x16GB, which is a total of 32GB of DDR4 RAM, clocked at 3000 MHz. So now that's complete. Before we put the motherboard into the case, we need to install the storage drive, which will go here, which we have a Kinston NV3 1TB drive. And you might remember this one has been featured in the last episode of building budget gaming PCs for a profit, from the white computer that featured a Ryzen 2600 and a 1660 Super, which we'll get more into it in the next episode of building budget gaming PCs for a profit. So let's start by unscrewing the NVMe screw. Now that the motherboard is ready, we're going to be moving on to putting it into the case. First of all, what we're going to be doing is bringing the eye shield. After that's clicked into place, we're going to be bringing in the motherboard. As you can see, the motherboard is an ITX. It might look funky in the case, but trust me, the graphics card, the cable extensions, the AIO will fill up the space in this case. Now that the motherboard's in place, we're going to be bringing in the cable extension. I was thinking to put the cable extensions from here, so it just fills up this area. And before we prep the cable extensions, we're going to be getting the AIO ready, which is an all-in-one cooler. We're going to attach the fans that we unscrewed from the top onto the radiator itself. The fans alone are here, ready to be screwed on. So we're going to bring in the radiator. A 240mm AIO from Corsair, facing this way. Oh no! We ran into a problem. Looks like these fans are a 120mm, which I completely overlooked. Now that all the cable extensions are complete and ready to put in, we're going to be starting off with the motherboard power and the CPU power. So what we're going to do now, we're going to put this build on hold, buy an air cooler from Amazon, and once that arrives we get back to building. So we got a buyer coming in an hour's time. We reset the computer, updated all the drivers, installed all the drivers, and now we're just going to be packing this, and I'll let you know how it goes. If we sell, then you'll see in the next clip that we sold it or we haven't sold it. Now that we briefly did the cable extensions for the motherboard and the CPU power, now that we got the cooler, we ordered it last night on a Saturday night. Surprisingly it came the next day, which we did buy one from Amazon for 35 bucks. So let's get right into the unboxing. the mounting brackets, which we'll be using for this cooler. What we have to do first is bring back the motherboard out, install the mounting bracket, and then we move from there. Now that the motherboard's out, we're going to be moving on to the other camera angle to install the mounting bracket. What we're going to do first, we're going to be removing the old brackets. Bring in the new mounting brackets. The back bracket is screwed on. We are moving on to mounting the actual cooler bracket. Now we plugged in the 24 pin, we're going to bring in the graphics card, securing the graphics card in place. Then we'll be moving on to the back side where we're going to be starting with the power supply. We'll go more in detail as we go throughout this episode. The graphics card for today's build is an ASUS STRIX RTX 2060 Super. Now that we slotted the graphics card in place, we're going to be bringing in our prepped cable extensions for the GPU power. For the power supply for today's build is an Antec 900 watts. Now that the power supply is in the system, we'll be focusing on the cable management of the system, which we will be doing off camera so I don't bore you guys out. Once I complete it, I'll show you what I've done, and then we move on to the next step.
2 hours later.
Now that we did the cable management off camera, we are ready to seal off the back and do the first startup. And we also included the Wi-Fi antennas for the motherboard. So let's get right into locking it up and doing its first step. Now that we've completed that, we are ready for the first power on. So let's get right into the next clip. So the moment of truth. So as you saw from the previous clip, or if the clip was even inserted in the video, this computer has died. Which unfortunately I had to pull it down, figuring it out for an hour, which I went down to. It was a CPU socket where it had a couple bent pins where they were shortening each other, sitting on top of each other. But the good news is, we have fixed it. It was posting out of the box once we completed all of that. So now that we put everything back in the case, briefly reassemble, we still have to do cable management. So yeah, we just give it a try, hope for the best at this point, and yeah, let's do the first startup. Good sign is GPU lights are lighting up, motherboard lights also. Hit the power button. Now the RGB fans were working as well. Had a faulty adapter. And let's see if it posts. There we go, let's go. That was so stressful, really stressful. I thought I had to delay another build, but at least we figured it out, and yeah, we're gonna go from there. So now what we gotta do, just finishing up the setup. The drive, the boot drive already has Windows and all the games installed. So what we're gonna be doing right now, we're gonna be moving on to the performance benchmarks, which we'll be seeing in the next clips. Now that we're completed, fixed the PC, overcame all the negatives, we have finally completed this build. It turned out amazing. Before we get into the gameplay, let's talk about the figures. The figures we're referring to is the cost of this build and all the parts that were included in this build. So as you can see on screen, you'll be seeing the full parts list that was included in this build, including all the prices of the individual parts. All of those came to a total of $592.81, which is pretty decent for this type of build. Really good value we got out of this. And please do keep in mind, so there is no confusion, all these figures are in Australian dollars. So now we spoke about the cost of the build, let's move right into the gameplay.
mag! Hold it! Making effective fire! Got moving here. Reloading!
Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the skies. The enemy lost track of you. Good work down there.
Mark the top.
Attacking objective Alpha.
Enemy stepped in my... Reloading! Cover me! Friendly down!
Smoke barrage ready.
Objective Alpha. Go.
Double elimination. Headshot. Triple elimination.
Reloading.
Grenade!
Stage 3.
Jet's grounded. Taken out. Satchel out. Satchel out. I'm pissed!
You're done.
Yeah?
Ultimate
This one! Killed! Dropped! Headshot.
Now that we completed the gameplay, the benchmarking of this PC, it will be the end of today's episode. I appreciate you guys watching. If you guys did enjoy, please consider liking, subscribing, comment down below what you would like to see in a video. Possibly you want me to change something or whatever opinions you may have. I'll be reading all of them as much as possible. I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.